Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here. Today is Monday, the 18th of May, 2020. And you know what? Listen, I think that we are in for another little wave of this virus. We had the first wave come through, but I don't think the second wave is going to have the magnitude and strength and power that the first one had. But I think there is going to be a little bit of a second wave. And the economy, is picking up today a little bit. The markets are picking up today a little bit on hopes for a vaccine or a lot of it's on hopes. I guess there's 8 people tested or whatever and they didn't die. So now they're thinking to themselves, hey, we got it all in the can now. But what they're forgetting about is what this has done, the impact that this has had in the travel industry. I'm going to tell you, doesn't matter where you live. It's going to be no tourists around the world. No tourists this summer. No tourists. There might be a few little road trips people are taking and stuff like that, but people are staying close to home. And the airplanes, airplane travel has been cut by 95%. Can you imagine cutting an industry by 95%? And, there's an awful lot of other industries, spin-off industries that are connected to the travel industry. It represents about 10% of the whole world's economy. There's hotels, there's, everything that's connected, like down the line. And then we're not even talking about all these people who now are out of a job. Really, in the United States, it represents an army, quite literally. I'm thinking it's probably 50 million, and the official numbers will probably reach that pretty soon because about every week they come in with about another 3 million more applying for unemployment. The only thing that's keeping the economy going right now is they've increased the unemployment benefits, and this is part of what's keeping the economy going right now. People are working off of these $1,200 checks that they've received from the government and their unemployment benefits, but the economy is taking an enormous fall that's going to take years to recover from, and this is not being reflected in the stock market. It's absolutely ridiculous, the bubble that we're going into. There's going to be a day of reckoning for all of this. And it's approaching very soon. So let's get in there and let's take a look at the markets today. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at what's going on. First thing we're going to take a look at silver today. It's up 47 cents, 17.08, but it did have a little drop off earlier. It dropped down into it did drop below $17 for a little while there. Now here's the thing. I'm having a brain fart. But here's the thing. These stock markets out there and stuff, they were buying silver and everything, and now they're selling it off because they think everything's fine again. No, everything didn't go back to fine. Sorry. We got more of this to go through. The worst part's probably coming up. Not so much with the virus, but with the economy. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen to all these people who are out of work? Some of them are not paying their rent or their mortgages. They've been postponing things, putting things off, and without continued support from the government, these people are going to have a hard time finding their way to survive. Some of them are single mothers, single parents, and they rely upon things like working at bartending or waitressing and stuff like that. And now they just don't have any work, and they don't have any sign in the future that they're going to get a job. And things are going to start to progress from bad to worse within our economy. Sort of what's happened is we've made sort of a little bridge here for ourselves. by using unemployment insurance and $1,200 checks from the government and so on. We've bridged this thing just a little bit, but that bridge is not going to last very long, you know. And we're going to have millions of disgruntled people out there, more than disgruntled at a certain point, unless they get more support comes in at a future date for these people. Unless they get more support, they're going to go berserk. And we're not talking about a small amount of people either here. We're talking about many millions of people, you know, and it might not be a pretty scene unless the federal government, unless the Fed is willing to go the extra mile and support these people until jobs do become available again at some point in the future. So there's two branches here, two things that could happen. We could see that continued support to come from the Fed for these people who are out of work, or we could see the Fed become tight and not give these people support, which would lead these people to a point where they're just they lose it, you know, and essentially. Anyway, let's move on. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency today. $265.9 billion, 67% Bitcoin dominance, and we're looking at a Bitcoin price of $96.98. So it's getting up close to $10,000 for a Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now let me refresh the page. 833 points up, 0.352% today. 24,518. You know, I'm going to tell you, with what's happened to the entire world economy and how the entire world economy has taken a blow and it's just completely stuttered, and it's created, it started, the next Great Depression has started. We just haven't fully felt the effects of it yet. And to see the stock market going up 831 points in one day with what's going on out there in the world right now with the economy is a complete disconnect from reality in this market. Let's take a look now at crude oil. Crude oil is up, it's $32.93. It's up $3.50 on the day. That's over 11%. So crude oil's going up too today a little bit. Now let's take a look at U.S. Treasuries. You know, this is where we're seeing some pretty big movement here in the Treasury yields. All the long end of the yield curve the yields are rising, but most notable is this 30-year at almost 10. Actually, it's 10 basis points today alone on the 30-year. We see a rise in yields, 10 basis points. You know, I'm going to tell you, there's in the end, there's only going to be one buyer for these Treasury bonds, and that's the Federal Reserve, you know. And so in order to keep interest rates low, they're going to have to buy a tremendous amount of these treasuries. Everything's out of sync right now. The whole world economy is out of sync. And we've now entered into not a recession, we've entered into a depression. Let's get clear about this, you know. This is a depression. And when unemployment insurance starts to run out and stuff, for people, and there's no more checks from the government, $1,200, and these people, a lot of them still, they don't have a job, and no likelihood of ever getting a job. What are they going to do? Where are they going to find their lodging? Where are they going to find a meal? And you know, we're talking about millions and millions of people here. It's almost like they'll become displaced persons from society itself. Because, you know, even if we get some sort of a recovery, we might get a few new restaurants opening up and stuff, and a few new bars, and the airplane industry might start again, you know, a little bit, but it's going to be a weird situation where The airplanes are only going to be half full of people. And the new bars and restaurants that open up are not going to equal what we had before the crisis occurred, you know? And this complete overreaction to what's happened, has created this problem. And yeah, I know that things are bad, but in other countries too, we have third world countries and we have emerging market countries, that have yet to really feel the full impact of this virus on their economies. And so this whole thing is playing itself out in real time. And how it's all going to conclude exactly in the end, if anybody tells you they know, well, then they're lying to you, because this whole thing is playing itself out so fast that, I mean, this weekend, I did a tremendous amount of research this weekend, on this subject. I was just researching it. I spent like 8 hours a day for Saturday and Sunday, researching what's going on right now. And my conclusion is, at a certain point, I'd say to myself, hey, maybe we'll get through this and it won't be so bad. And then other times I think to myself, oh no, things are going to shut down bad, and I mean, it's just kind of like my brain was kind of like flip-flopping and trying to figure out, just continuing to do research and research, trying to figure out exactly how this thing's going to play out. And it's such a complex situation. It's such a complex, and it's developing so rapidly that it's a little bit hard to kind of configure exactly how it's all going to play out. Suffice to say that the whole thing is really bad, Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening to my show. Give me a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.